Living Life in the Light. I'm AP Hill, and I wanted to update you guys a little bit about my progress. And of course, I want everyone to remember it's called progress, not perfection. We wish to claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. It's the people that claim spiritual perfection that don't deliver on such a grandiose, arrogant thing to say. That's what causes us so much trauma and seeing hypocrisy and things like that. So we claim spiritual progress, not spiritual perfection. And so my last post I did, I let you guys see kind of what my life was like as far as like beyond the camera. It was definitely a fourth wall break, but I felt like I couldn't honestly do this and speak about, not preach, but speak about true recovery and doing the steps necessary to make it a daily thing. I couldn't very well do that if my humble abode was an absolute wreck. I mean, I have to put that away. I have to put that side of myself to bed. It's one of the things I'm going to bury this year in 2019. It's going to be cleaning and keeping it straight. And I was surprised by my progress, and you will be too when I show you shortly. But afterwards, I want to talk about some specific ideas as far as how to set SMART goals. And SMART, yes, SMART is an acronym, SMART. It has certain meanings for each letter. And hopefully, after I get through showing you some of the things that I've done and some of the things I'm working on as far as coping skills, and then show you the paperwork, then we can discuss some of the principles behind SMART goal setting. So anyway, check this out. As promised, here are pictures of the aftermath of the cleaning that I've been doing. You can see that the floors are swept and mopped, and I've been using my goal setting information that I've gotten in treatment to set realistic goals and do about 15-20 minutes for cleaning and then taking a little break. And so far, I've been able to accomplish a lot in about 2 or 3 hours. That's what made the difference for me, is setting realistic, achievable goals, taking it step by step and building them together to make a difference. And that's all recovery to me really is figuring out different ways of doing things, over, under, around, through, and just getting it done and sticking to it and making your space as livable as possible to declutter. And I mentioned the coloring that I've been doing. This is the coloring book that I've got. It's got a pattern in it that I'm working on, a little mandala. It's pretty cool. And this is a little information that I received about setting realistic goals. And the model is called SMART, SMART. And that stands for specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-bound. And if you set smaller goals and realistic goals and just add them up as you go, then pretty soon you've realized you've made quite a dramatic change in your life, and it can make all the difference. So I'm going to include this for y'all. So there you have it, some of my progress. You can see that I've still got a little bit of work to do, but it's not perfect. It doesn't have to be, but I've really put a lot of work into it. It didn't take me nearly as long as I thought it would, and now my place is livable. It's comfortable. It's not cluttered. It's not garbagey. It's just right. It's a place where I can feel at peace all together. Not just my mood, but also my emotions, my feelings. There's zero depression, and now it shows. There's zero anxiety, and now it shows. And I think that's really important. And I think that if we all were to set these SMART goals, which I showed you some of that in the pictures, but I just want to go a little bit deeper into what it means to have SMART goals. Number one, it needs to be specific. And what it says here on this paperwork, it says goal statements should be specific enough so we know what we are aiming for. Then it needs to be measurable, measurable, so we can determine our progress. You've got to be able to say, okay, this goal, I'm going to do it for X amount of days and see if I can hold to it. Specific. Like when I did this, I did a specific goal of saying that I was going to make sure that I knew every medication that I was taking, the exact dosage for it, when I'm supposed to take it every day, and do that for a month, or a week actually. And I was able to uphold that. I was able to stick to that. So specific, measurable, so we can determine our progress. Action oriented, so we know what behaviors to enact. Like my goal was to clean this place. The only thing I could do to do it was to just do it. Just get up and stop making excuses and stop being lazy and really put some effort into it and make it what needed to happen. It needed to happen. I knew it needed to happen, and so I just freaking did it. So, realistic. Action oriented, so we know what behaviors to enact. Realistic, so that it is practical and within our capability to fulfill. That's a real key point right there. We've got to be able to stick to this goal and follow through. And you're not going to do that if you set initial goals for like a whole month ahead. And I'll get to that in a second. The last part is time bound. So we have a target time of completion. So say I set my goal at 15 minutes to clean, and then I would give myself a 30-minute break and then go back to 15 minutes of cleaning. And so time bound, so we have a target time of completion. I knew that I would only have to work for 15 minutes and then I'd get a break. And as I added up, what seemed to be insurmountable actually started working. And it made a difference. And then what it says here, it says, for instance, instead of stating, my goal is not to feel so down, or my goal is to never crave drugs again, we may say, for the next 2 weeks, when I feel depressed, I will write down what I'm feeling in a journal. A short-term goal for 2 weeks. Or, my goal is to work a recovery program for 6 months since I have a tendency to relapse after being sober for 5 months. Something like that would be a long-term goal. But you start with the small ones first, and then you build your way up as you build more confidence that you're going to be able to fulfill these SMART goals. And this is what I learned when I was an inpatient. And I'm trying, it's my job as a recovering alcoholic addict and someone who's in recovery and who has bipolar depression and everything like that. It's my job to share the knowledge that I've been given with the people out there who are still struggling and trying to make their way in this life. That's my job. So I hope that this is actually going to make a difference, let you see that it's not so insurmountable. A lot of what we deal with is stuff that we make up in our own head. We catastrophize. It's black and white thinking, things like that, you know, and we'll get into that some other time. But basically, all it takes is to just set a small goal, work your best to achieve it, and then when you have the success of achieving it, it will give you momentum to move on to other goals. And it's just life management. and you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. Anybody can do it. That's my best advice. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. If it helped, definitely like, comment, share, subscribe, because there's going to be more to come. And I hope you have a great night.